Alright. Alright. Okay. Well, here we are again. And, hold on, let me... Whoa. No. Put that down. Sorry about that, I was just making sure, everything was hunky-dory. So, we are live with, another session of this. I realize that, it's been quite some time since, the last one, and I realized that, still trying to get used to the whole, streaming on, YouTube and everything. But, we are live and rolling. So, wait, hold on. What was it? Okay, sorry about that. Anywho, welcome everybody to, I believe it's session 6 of this, I want to say. Yeah, I think it's, session 6 of whatever this is. Yeah, we have a bunch to talk about because, whew, oh boy, we have quite a bit to discuss in terms of today, in terms of the Smash Direct, and there is a lot of information that we got at today's Smash Direct. So, I think what I'm going to do is basically just go through everything, like, in order of how it was presented and just take from there. Well, first and foremost, we got the last 2 official fighters for the game. And, what a surprise, it's 2 fighters that, people really, really wanted in, Smash Brothers. We got Ken from Street Fighter, which to no one's surprise is a Echo Fighter of Ryu. But also not surprising, we got Incineroar, the Pokemon, and a lot of people really wanted him to get in. And so there you have it. Cat's out of the bag, so to speak. He's in, folks. Oh man, like I knew that there were, like, some of the expected fighters that had a chance to get in. Like, I know people really want, like, characters like Geno and, Banjo-Kazooie and, excuse me one second. Ugh. Sorry about that, I, sneezed a little bit. But, yeah, there are people who really wanted, characters like Banjo-Kazooie and, Geno, and I'll get to that a little bit later, but I know that Ken and Incineroar were definitely up there. Incineroar especially, because, like, I had a feeling Incineroar was going to get in for a few reasons, because if you think about it, like, with, every passing Smash Brothers, there was, like, a character that, there was, like, a Pokemon representative that was, from the generation that was really popular at the time. Like, Melee had, Pichu and Mewtwo because, it was around the time, like, Gen 2 was the thing. And then you cut it to a few years later where Smash Bros. Brawl, they had Lucario because Gen 4 was really popular. Cut again to Smash 4 when Gen 6 was all the rage for whatever reason. And we get Greninja, and now for Smash Ultimate, representing good old Gen 7 is Incineroar. So, I had a feeling that a Gen 7 Pokemon was gonna get in. And if it was anyone, I, among many people, am glad that it is actually Incineroar. He is such a good fit for this series. And from what they showed off in terms of his moveset, he plays really well. And, yeah, he's got, like, counters. He's got like, this down strike that actually... The down strike is interesting because he mentioned that if you're not careful with some of his attacks, that he actually misses or causes damage to himself. That's really interesting. So he's kind of like a risk/rewards kind of character. So it's interesting to see, like, how that plays out in terms of how he'll play as a fighter. And I'm sure there's people, like, there's a way to, like, make it so that, it's not really that much of an issue to, like, get accidentally fall into the pit if you mess up your I think it's gonna be like a down B or something. But anyway, I'm gushing too much about Incineroar. Let's talk about Ken. Ken was definitely up there as well, because, like, when you think about it, like, they really like to hype things up with, like, characters that people really want. And even when it's characters that people didn't really ask for, they still manage to find a way to, like, make them work. And I'm gonna bring that up later because of something else that they showed in the Direct, which you probably already know, but for those of you who don't, I'm not going to spoil it right now. Again, I'm going to save that for later. And, Ken looks pretty cool as an Echo Fighter. He's a bit, well, he's an Echo Fighter, so obviously he'll, play very similarly to, Ryu, but it's still interesting to see him, like, confirmed as a playable character. And, like, they mentioned, like, oh, these are the official main fighters. And, honestly, I'm really glad with how the initial roster turned out. Everyone is there, including some characters some of which we didn't expect, but really wanted and kind of surprised actually getting, like Ridley and Isabel. And then you have characters like God, I'm trying to think who else. Oh yeah, you got characters like Dark Samus and Daisy, which I know people wanted, like, especially Daisy. They really wanted Daisy to get in, but no one could have foreseen, like, Simon Belmont or Richter, so it kind of added to the element of surprise. But of course, like, with characters that people really want, like the Inklings, which we all had a feeling they were going to be in there at the very beginning when they first announced it. And I'm still holding it that most of the characters that were Mii fighters in Smash 4 have been officially confirmed, except for, like, a few. Rest in peace, Knuckles and Ashley. But anyway, let's see. I guess talking a bit more about, like, the next thing they announced, which was a huge part, and it actually, like, took up the majority of the Smash Direct, was the Spirits mode. And that itself has so much potential because, like, it has so many elements to it. Like, at first, I had a feeling it was going to play a lot like the stickers from, the stickers or customization from, like, previous Smash Bros. Games, like, Smash Bros. Brawl, you had these stickers you can put on characters, make them more powerful, and you also had the customization in Smash 4, where you can make them more powerful, as well as use them on amiibos. But the way they showed it off, it was so interesting to see all these different characters from these different series, even if they're not in as a fighter, they're still there being represented as a spirit, which is really interesting, which opened out a lot of opportunities. Like you said, we got, like, characters that nobody really expected. Like, we got characters like Magalar and, like, Cappy and even Shantae. And, like, even if they're not playable, they're still there as a representation of themselves. And, okay, so, and, okay, again, I'm trying not to gush too much, but getting into the thing, like, the customization was really interesting because they made it, like, they really expanded on it. Like, you can, like, like, stick 3 spirits onto an initial spirit, like the primary one. There's different, like, levels of spirits. You can trade them off and things like that. And it was really interesting because they also showed off matches with spirits attached to certain characters, and they weren't just normal matches. They were like special spirit matches. Like one was with a bunch of tiny Bowsers, and one was like with a giant Mega Man and a giant K. Rool. So not only did they take the customization from previous Smash games, it also seems like they took a bit of the event matches that they also had. Because like how in the past you had event matches where it had like certain conditions, like certain characters like metal or things like that. It was sort of like that in a way, and it was really interesting. And there is just so much to this spirits mode that just has so much potential, and I really, really want to see how it plays out when the game comes out. And again, I'm going to bring this up later because it plays such a huge role in this game. And when I heard the rumors that there was going to be a spirits mode and that was going to be the new mode that they added, I had some concerns of whether or not it meant what I think it meant. And I'm kind of glad they played out as they did. So anyway, moving on. So next on the list, they talked about online, which, again, is a huge part of Smash Bros. Because everybody wants the connection to be stable and all that. And they handle it in a way that, now that I think about it, makes sense. They basically made it so that, online matches will basically depend on your, well, for one, your connection, which they recommend, you get a LAN adapter, or just have a stable connection in general. But they also made it so that you get to play with people in proximity in a way, and that's the thing that I didn't even think about with Mario Kart and Splatoon, because how you have in Mario Kart Splatoon you got people all over the world and play together. That's all fine and good, but when you're not in close proximity, that could be, I don't know if it's the primary reason why Nintendo Switch Online has gotten so much flack, and online connection in general with Nintendo consoles has gotten so much flack because they're trying to connect to different people all over the world. And admittedly, it didn't seem that stable for the most part. I mean, it was revolutionary, but in terms of functionality, it just sort of fell between the cracks. And so they're taking a step back and okay, we're going to make online functionality just as stable as it can be. Not necessarily excluding anyone, because they did mention that in the Smash Direct, when you get to high enough Smash power, which is basically a ranking system, you can fight against other people with Smash powers, and maybe that's where the expansive proximity comes in. But the way they handle it is okay, don't expect I'm trying to explain this because as we all know, Nintendo Switch Online has gotten so much flack in the past, and Nintendo in general has had so much shade thrown at them online in general, and I feel the way they're tackling him now with Smash may seem counterintuitive to some, but when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, it's probably the best. It's sort of it's kind of like a take what you can get sort of situation. You gotta roll with the punches, sort of thing. We can't promise everything, and that's kind of the attitude they're going with it, because as we all know, again, online functionality has not been the most stable, especially with like how it's been with like Splatoon and Mario Kart, because you got disconnects and communication errors, and you're facing against people who, like, may not play fair. Which also, little bit of a tidbit for you: you can get disconnected if you purposely fall off the stage or forfeit a match. Which, again, makes sense. They kind of do that with Splatoon. If you like disconnect on purpose and just leave the match, you get penalized for like 4 minutes, which again makes sense. But like the online, they did show some things off, like, in terms of like spectating and getting into matches, like, and it definitely seems like they're paying a lot of attention to it, because they've gotten like again, Nintendo's got so much slots. Like, so basically, like, a way a match works is like you get into a match, you can customize your settings, and you can also like choose before you get into a match what kind of play settings you prefer. Like, if you want to play with like Omega stages or Battlefield stages, or like play with items on and all that. And it's not so much like for fun or for glory where it's stuck between two categories and that's it. You have a lot more options to choose from now. And they even made it like special adjustments, like you can choose to like sit out a match if there's not enough room and just be on like a wait list, sort of, or you can choose to be in spectator mode, which in addition to spectator mode, they made it so you can play other game modes, I believe, if you're waiting for a match, which makes a lot of sense, because no one wants to be like on a wait list forever. And like, again, you can do that, but like, say you want to play some other mode before you go into it, you can do that. And yeah, I feel like the attitude they're going with this, it's probably for the best for them, the way they're handling this and how they're going about making online more stable and more fun for everybody. Yeah. And okay, so other things. They changed a lot with this game. Like, for one, music, you're not locked behind like challenges anymore, which challenges, they sort of categorize them differently. And they made more like they got a little bit creative with it. It's not just, like a giant screen with just challenges, just that's it. There are like challenges that are like, different sizes, sort of fit together, like you said, like a comic book. And but going back to the point about music, you're not held back by just having to complete certain challenges to get music. You can actually purchase them with like in-game currency, which again makes a lot of sense, because people want to listen to the music, especially if you're on the go and your Switch is in sleep mode and you apparently like to lug it around as a huge MP3 player. So that's something. Also, God, what was I gonna say before? I was about to mention something. I was on a thought for like a second. Oh yeah, All-Star mode. All-Star mode. This isn't like, they mention it briefly, like that All-Star mode, you don't have to unlock every single character to do All-Star mode. You can just like, do it from the get-go, and you're not going to be penalized because you don't have all the characters yet, which is really interesting, because it gives you a feel for all the characters before you even like get them. And of course, like, I believe they still have classic mode. I think they've announced it like a previous direct that there's still classic mode in addition to that. What else did they change? Like, they changed the messages so that they're like predetermined and you could do them at the start, beginning of matches. They showed off handicaps so you can apply to you yourself and others when you're playing, like, you know, with a friend. What else? What else? What else? They made it so you don't have to like stare at that little screen off in the corner that tells you you're out of bounds in a stage. That's pretty cool. I'm trying to think. Well, oh yeah, DLC. DLC. They have confirmed that DLC is indeed coming out for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which makes sense because again they did that with Smash 4 and everybody seemed to be pretty cool with it. And the way they did it is that each character gets their own little fighter pass as well as a stage and music, which makes sense. And like it's interesting because like the like fighter pass for all 5 of them is actually slightly cheaper than purchasing them individually. Like each individually is like $5.99, but as a whole, all of them are like $24.99. So you're saving like roughly around $5 if you just go for the whole thing. But it still makes sense because it gives you options like you said, if this is worth it or not. And speaking of, they did confirm the first DLC character, and oh my god. Oh my god. I don't even know what to think about a freaking piranha plant being in Smash Bros. Like, what? What? Okay, to be fair, Sakurai is known to put pretty weird characters in the past. Like, Smash 4 is no exception. Like, Mii Fires, which, like, going back to that, I didn't talk about it, but I guess I can talk about it briefly. Mii Fires have a bit more customization now, and, like, have, certain, costumes available, like, Nintendo Labo set. But going back to fucking Piranha Plant being in Smash Brothers, like, you would think it would work better as, like, an assist trophy, or just, like, as a spirit or something, but nope, he's there, and he actually seems to play a lot like a fighter, which is kind of ridiculous, because it's a freaking Piranha Plant! Why? Oh, man, out of all the characters you can put in this Smash Brothers, a freaking Piranha Plant. Holy shit. Oh yeah, and I just remembered I didn't talk about assist trophies. Well, assist trophies, I guess I could talk about it briefly before going into more about Piranha Plant. Assist trophies, like, they showed off a few, like Isaac still assist trophy, which, you know, people probably pissed about. Shadow still assist trophy, which again, people are most likely pissed about. But interesting enough, you can actually KO assist trophies yourself, which is kind of interesting because it basically means you don't get penalized if someone else KOs your assist trophy, which is really, really interesting, but it makes sense. And another thing I forgot to mention is that on online or playing on teams, you can actually change how your partner looks, like make it a little brighter or something like that. And of course, you got like help, tips, and oh yeah, and what was it? Fighter tags, smash tags. Like you collect tags, like as you battle against people, and they collect yours, sort of like a little collectible thing that you can trade in for stuff. Sorry if I'm a bit all over the place. I'm trying to remember every single detail that was discussed in 45 minutes. So, back to Piranha Plant. They announced that he was going to be a limited time free offer. Like, if you pre-purchase the game. But, of course, like, they'll make it available for everybody to, like, purchase, which again, makes sense. They did that for, like, Mewtwo back when he got back into, like, Smash 4 as DLC. And, which begs the question, is he technically the first fighter pass, or is he just before the first fighter pass. I mean, it's not a deal breaker either way because we got like 4 or 5 more of them, and we got so many possibilities for like DLC characters. So, you know, for those of you who wanted a character that you didn't see get in, you still got the DLC. It's not over yet. Sakurai is not quitting. God, I feel so bad because at a certain point in the direct, he like joked about like, man, when am I ever gonna go on break? Oh man, he just works so hard. Sakurai, I love you. As soon as you're done with the DLC, just for your own safety and for your own health, for the love of God, you deserve a rest. You have done such an amazing job with this series. This is probably the best you have ever done. You've put so much time and effort into this. Once the DLC is out, whenever that is, you get the rest you deserve. Okay. With that being said, remember when I said Spirits mode had a huge part in this game? And about the different modes? We got it, boys and girls. A proper adventure mode. World of Light. Can we just talk about this for a second? Oh man, where do I even begin? This should have had its own section of the talk show on its own. Oh my god, like holy shit. Like, first of all, the cutscene was like amazing. The music is beyond ecstatic. I've been listening to it nonstop ever since I made that one drawing, which apparently has got a lot of traction, but I'm like happy for it. But talking about World of Light itself, the way it works is it revolves around the spirits. You have to collect them, as well as the other fighters that turn into spirits. And you go across, like, this world, like, traveling into these different places. And the way you collect them is through special spirit battles, like before. And they have certain conditions, like, one was, like, Metal Mario. Again, like 4 is, like, on fire, and stuff like that. Which, oh my god, it may not be Subspace Emissary, which, by the way, we do have subspace bosses, because they sort of tease of gallium at the end. But this is by far one of the best things they could have done for this game in terms of content and in terms of story. Like, oh, it's so good! I don't care what anyone says. Like, World of Light, oh my god, it looks so fun. And, like, it makes so much sense for this particular type of game. Like, when you think about it, each Game Pass has, like, had something that, like, was, like, fit, like, what the game was about. And this game, it's the ultimate, it literally is the ultimate game. And, like, the fact that you're, like, going around, like, seeing all the fires, like, again, like you did at a brief moment in Subspace. Imagine that, but it's the whole story. And it's not just like, you know, like, the fires. You're also helping all the other spirits as well, which, like, my god, I had a feeling spirits was gonna play a huge part, but I didn't know how huge it was gonna play. It's ridiculous how much this plays into and even goes into, like, adventure mode. And it's so interesting because it's like it takes the best parts of past, like, adventure and, like, special modes that we come to know and love. Like, it takes, like, the story aspect from Subspace, like the event matches and the exploring worlds and things like that, like you did in, like, Melee. It just, it culminates that so well, and it all just fits together. and it looks just so good. Like I cannot just stop gushing at like how excited I am for this game. Like, oh my god, I don't even care if like I'll have to wait till like Christmas to get it because I'm probably not gonna be able to find a job that till then. That's another story. But I am just so amazed by how much is in this game. Like, oh my god, everything leading up to this point has just been non-stop excitement for me. I have not been excited for Smash Bros. Games like this in a long time because, like, I'll admit, I owe a lot to Smash Bros. If it weren't for Smash Bros., I wouldn't have played or know half the characters that I do now, or half the games that I've played and will eventually will play. But I feel like it's played such a huge part in my life and everybody else's just to see it culminate together to this, like, finale of sort. Like, there is no way Sakurai is going to be able to top this. I would be absolutely satisfied if this was the final Smash game. I do not care. Sakurai can go retire after this, for all I know and care, because he deserves it. Because this game is like, it's gonna be the best game, Smash Bros. Game ever. I am just looking so forward to this game. It's everything I would have hoped for and more. It is just gonna be excellent. And it's on a console that's actually doing good! It's so good! Ugh. Ugh. Okay. I'm just gushing at this point. Man. Oh man, it's gonna be so good. And you know people are gonna want to play it with everybody. It's just everybody's gonna want to play this game, whether you're casual or competitive. It's like, it really is like the perfect Smash Brothers game. Like, I know I'm just gushing at this point, but everything leading up to this point is just has been so worth it. And, like, you know, spoilers and leaks aside, which, by the way, I guess we can talk about this a little before I end things off. Like, a while ago, like, someone apparently made a leak of the entire Smash roster, and for some reason he went by The Grinch for some reason. I don't know, that was probably his, like, alias or username or something. But apparently, like, the leak was supposedly, like, the entire Smash roster, which I am actually pretty happy that it's not the case. And the thing is, I usually don't pay attention to leaks or spoilers unless it's been confirmed by an actual source, like the actual creators and all that. So I had a feeling this wasn't going to be true either way, because people do this all the time, especially with Pokemon. And my friend buys every single... And my friend just buys it. And, like, I have to tell him every time, it's not real. And I had a feeling that this one wasn't true either, because, like, they confirmed, like, Shadow and Banjo-Kazooie were going to be in. Which, of course, we know now it's not the case, because Shadow is still an assist trophy. So, obviously, I'm not saying that Banjo-Kazooie doesn't have a shot. For all I know, he could be one of the DLC characters. Who knows? But I'm just saying, like, I'm kind of glad that this leak was actually debunked, I should say, before it got way too out of hand and before people's expectations would, like, be ruined or something. I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't fall prey to it, and that I was able to, like, you know, have an open mind about it. And and the thing is, I had a feeling I was not the only one, because, like, why would you take a leak by someone named after a Dr. Seuss character? That does not seem like a confident source of information. And the thing is, like, there have been people past who try to leak things that obviously you can tell is fake. Like, with Smash 4, with, like, the Rayman leak that went about, like, the guy himself actually confirmed it themselves that they just made it up and that it wasn't real. And they just made it because they wanted to, like, you know, fuck with people. I mean, sorry, I shouldn't be saying that. But anyway, so, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. And I could go for a little more, but this isn't like, you know, this is like, I usually go for like 30 minutes to an hour when I play games anyway, so I feel this is a good enough stopping point. But, like, so yeah, Smash Ultimate, it's gonna be good. It's really gonna be good. I am excited for it. And, I hope this has encouraged you to get excited too. So, anywho, I guess that's just about it. That about wraps it up. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.